The invasion and occupation of Cambodia by Vietnam in 1979 marked a significant turning point in the history of Southeast Asia. Driven by a mix of political, ideological, and strategic motivations, Vietnam's intervention aimed to throw out the genocidal Khmer Rouge regime and establish a pro-Vietnamese government in Cambodia. The Khmer Rouge was a communist political group that ruled Cambodia from 1975 to 1979. The Khmer Rouge aimed to transform Cambodia into a classless farming society based on their version of Marxist and Maoist ideologies. During their rule, the Khmer Rouge implemented radical and brutal policies that resulted in widespread human rights abuses, mass executions, forced labor, and other cruelty. One of the most notorious aspects of the Khmer Rouge's rule was the Cambodian genocide, during which an estimated of 1.5 to 2 million people, nearly a quarter of the population, died due to execution, forced labor, hunger, and disease. The Khmer Rouge's extreme social engineering and harsh policies led to a devastating impact on Cambodia, causing immense suffering and leaving lasting scratch on the country. The regime was overthrown in 1979 by Vietnamese forces, leading to the end of the Khmer Rouge's rule. Later, Cambodia went through a long process of recovery and rebuilding. The establishment of the PRK and Vietnam's role in the governing setup drew international criticism and accusations of Vietnamese occupation. In response to Vietnam's occupation of Cambodia, China launched military incursions into northern Vietnam that led to a brief conflict between China and Vietnam, named by Sino-Vietnamese War. However, several factors contributed to China's decision to cease the war, such as Russia's strong support to Vietnam and Beijing's assurance both Moscow and Washington that the invasion would be limited and Chinese forces would withdraw shortly. Vietnam's occupation of Cambodia lasted for over a decade until its withdrawal in September 1989. It is important to note that Vietnam's invasion and subsequent occupation of Cambodia were not universally condemned. Many Cambodians, especially those who had suffered under the Khmer Rouge regime, welcomed the overthrow of Pol Pot and the restoration of relative stability.